Welcome to the 13 Comics of Halloween.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another 13 Comics of Halloween. Today we are doing the Four Color Fear. It's called issue 1, but we didn't do the whole thing because it was like 13 stories. So we did like the first 5 stories.
Yeah, because it went like the number 1 is like, hey, do you want to read the whole collection?
Yeah, it was.
Jesus.
I thought it was just one part of it. It was actually the whole collection, but whatever. It's the first couple stories. We limited it to 5 because 5 was what the Tales from the Crypt and all those were.
Yeah.
So we just did the first 5, and this is basically the same thing as those that came out around the same time as Tales from the Crypt and that those type of stories. But these are the ones that actually got like the comics code started, like what people were objecting to the most.
Yeah.
Because these were like the independent, like this wasn't Marvel or DC or whatever they were called back then. This wasn't them putting these out. This wasn't EC putting out like well written, well drawn, and like sometimes there'd be some violence or whatever, but most of the time it was like a morality tale or something. These were like, we might show some cannibalism. I don't know. What do you think? Like, might show some people burning in hell and committing murder. I don't know. What do you think? And so, like, a lot of adult themes in these for children. These were like 4, like, hey, you're 8. Here you go. So read this on the
You'll like this.
Yeah. Read this in, I don't know, what are they? Well, you play stickball or whatever the fuck they were doing. So
You get the hoop and you
yeah,
run
yeah,
with the
yeah. The hoop, yeah. You run with it. I don't know what the fuck you do.
jacks.
How do you just start rolling?
I think you start doing it like you start,
And then the
doing it,
stick
and the
continues it
continues
moving?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I am not from that era, and
Before
my
the
father never
internet.
told me those stories of that.
Before the internet. So anyway,
I know jacks.
yeah. So like we said, these the first 5 stories. These are all like 7 to 10 page stories, and they're all pretty fun. There was one that was like a super like weird fucked up one. So
I like that this is the supernatural thrills and chills, and like
no supernatural at all.
no supernatural. Like all of these are like it's very much like either like something just really messed up,
Right.
or
like real life situations
Yeah.
where people mistake things for being supernatural and they're not or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, the first one of this is called The Strange Case of the Henpecked Harry. And this is about a guy who is just he's basically in an abused relationship.
abusive marriage.
He's always terrified of being late or saying the wrong thing. And it's not like it's just because he gets yelled at or called like, you never listen to me or something like that.
He walks in he walks in the home after being late for apparently the first time in like a year, and she throws a frying pan at
Yeah,
him.
this looks like a
iron.
cast iron pan, not just like a regular.
Yeah.
This is a 50s pan. This is made in America.
Yeah,
God damn it.
this is going to kill him. If
This
it
is
actually
American
hits him.
steel. And so, yeah, like she's actually like hitting him and like it's very abusive. And she yells at him and whatnot. And she even shows his face like bloody and like bruised and has a black eye. And basically he's like, she's made me want to go mad as a murderer. Like after this little fight. And so basically he like starts, looking around the place after she leaves because she's so mad. And he notices, hey, she's got like life insurance on her. And it's for a $5,000 policy.
5,000 smackaroos.
Well, back then, $5,000 was a lot of cabbage.
Yeah.
So, or whatever they said back then. It's a bunch of lettuce or something. So, there's probably like $50,000 or more. I don't know. Just times it by 10.
Something, yeah.
It's probably similar. And so he gets a great idea. He's like, I'm going to go to the movies and figure out how to plan murders, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
That'd be like if I'm gonna go watch like I don't know, one of those 90s erotic thrillers where they murder people or whatever, and Basic Instincted or something. Be like, that's how you commit a murder.
That's how.
Yeah,
because it's funny because he goes and watches one, and that's literally what it is. It's like this guy's in an abusive marriage, and he's like, I'm not going to take it anymore, and he shoots and kills it.
Yeah.
But then, like, as he's watching the movie, he's like, oh, well, that's why he messed up. That's why he gets caught.
Yeah, so he's like taking notes, basically. And so he comes up with a better plan, and that plan is to follow his wife one day as she's leaving work, and then she's going to be, or I don't know if it's work or whatever, but he's following her as she's like going around town, and she has a coat that he knows is hers and like pretty distinct. So he's gonna like follow her until she gets onto the subway like platform to wait for the subway train, and then he's gonna like pretend to get pushed from behind and like stand behind the guy that's behind her. So no one really, it's like an indirect push into her. And he's going to be like, hey, watch it, you. And then like shove himself into the guy behind her, and she'll fly because he always knows that she always waits right on the ledge. Line, yeah. And so he's going to push her off.
Someone push me.
Basically, he does that. And she falls, and she totally gets hit. Another thing that I noticed that they go through the point of drawing in this, this was another thing that like got them in trouble, was they would show like ladies' undergarments in this. So they showed like her stockings and her like what the garter belt or whatever. Yeah. And so like that was another thing that like whenever she's falling and she's about to die, she has like her underwear showing, and so that's scandalous in the 50s or whatever. But and then like she gets killed. I thought it was just her leg at first, but then like because it shows like a wheel about to run over her leg.
Yeah.
But then the rest of her body is in the train track. So
yeah. Was it the conductor? One of the people's like, that's like the most mangled body I've ever seen.
I see one at least 2 a week. You know, like back then, you know, just dying all over the place. Yeah. So, but yeah, basically he's like, finally, I got rid of that bitch, and so freed myself from my abusive relationship.
Which he holds on to for all of like 5 minutes.
Right.
He like the train ride home, and then he gets to his home and immediately is like overwhelmed with guilt, so much so.
So like basically he starts having flashes of his wife and the train, and she's like, I knew you were the one who killed me. Like, how dare you? Like, I'm gonna.
It's like a bloody like. She looks cool.
Yeah, no, they draw her very graphically, like not like intestines hanging out or anything, but like there's blood all over the place. Her dress is all torn up and mangled and stuff. And basically he's getting chased by this train everywhere. He finally gets traced all the way up to the roof, where he jumps off, or it looks like, you know, he's hit off by the train. I couldn't
tell. Like, it seemed like he was like running away, and they get up to the roof, and maybe like the train, quote unquote.
I think he's backing up, and he just trips. But
yeah,
it looks like the train's kind of coming at him to hit him. And then they're like, it says a half hour later, and then this lady walks out of a car, and she's like, "Oh my God, Harry dead? Fell from the roof? What was he doing on the roof?" And then we see that's his wife, and you're like, "Wait, what? I thought his wife was dead." And it turns out his wife had let one of her coworkers borrow her coat, and so Harry actually killed the wrong person, and then was guilted by not a ghost but
his own guilt. Yeah.
And then he ended up killing himself on accident. And she's like, "No kidding, isn't that funny?" It's just like
she goes to work. She's like, "Where's Susie? She took my coat. I need it back." And the woman's like, "Oh, you didn't hear she died."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's weird. She died the same day my Harry died," and that's it. That's like, there's no like, okay, yeah. I guess it's bad to murder someone, and that's even if you're like an abusive.
Yeah. What was the lesson we learned?
If you're an abusive wife, you can get away with it. That's what I learned. So, yeah, the next one is called Pit of the Damned, and this was a weird one. So there's a guy who owns a carnival mystery house, and he's like, I know what I'm gonna do. Or I guess he owns the whole carnival, yeah. But he's like, I know what I'm gonna do. No one's coming. Like, everybody's out of no one cares about these carnivals anymore. I'm gonna get me one of them
Houses of Horror,
House of Mysteries, and get the best one ever, and that'll draw all the crowds in. So naturally, as you do, you go find the witch in your town, and you say, "Hey, old bitch."
He was like, "Hey, you wench! Like, yeah. I need me, you old hag. I need your dark arts book.
I need one of them black arts books that you got, you old dame or whatever." And then like, so she gives him a book.
Beware, it comes with a terrible curse.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a fuck about no curse. I need my carnival to be bitching. And so he does his own curses, his own like reads from the book. He basically pulls like a Cabin in the Woods or like an Evil Dead, where he's literally like, Ecto Verata Nictu, like, like, give me the power, I beg of thee, like, just calling for Satan and everything. And then he makes sure he says in the cantation that I want these like evils to rise, but also them to be waxed so that I can like just put them as like scary things in this thing.
Coat them in wax, so they're mine, but they don't like move.
Yeah. So he wants these demons in wax so they can just scare people, and so that's what happens. He gets some like wax figures, but I guess they're like real demons that are just waxed. And so he invites people in, and there's a crowd that comes at first, but they are so terrified. They like can't stand it, so
they look so real.
Basically, it gets the reverse of what he wanted, and the demons actually keep more people out. And it's not helping at all. So then he's like, "Well, you know what? Maybe I should just get more into this book. I want to learn all its secrets." So then he like goes to the inside. He's inside this thing, and he's like, "Let me do a spell." And there's like a homeless guy in there now, and the homeless guy's like, "Oh, I'm just like chilling. I was going to sleep here because no one's here." And he's like, "No, you will go with me." So he reads from this book. The demons wake up, the ones that were like wax. They take the homeless guy and this asshole who owns the carnival to hell. Like the homeless guy's like, "I was just here.
I was just here. Don't take me."
Like, "Well, it was with you. So guess what? You got to go with him too." And so they get like a tour of hell. They actually see people burning alive,
like legit
in hell,
in the fire,
in flames. Scantily clad people, and yeah, they're like walking around. It's kind of like they get to just see everything, but then they also get out of there, and so they see like heads on pikes and stuff, but they're still alive and they're still burning. They're like roasting, and they see a door and they're like, "Oh my god, let's get out of here." They finally get out of there, but then when they get back, the whole place is on fire. So much so that the homeless man is left there to die. The homeless man actually does die. And he gets out. Like the guy that owns the carnival gets out. He runs out just in time to see police. And they're like, "Hey, where do you think you're going out of that inferno, huh?
Did you start this?
You start this thing? You start this inferno?" And that's where it ends. Yeah. It ends like...
And he's just like, "Inferno! Inferno!"
Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, you're arrested, I guess? I don't know. It was weird. It's a very weird one.
What did we learn?
I don't know what we learned.
I have no idea what the
I don't know what we learned. Don't raise wax creatures for people to see.
Don't go see old hag witches in your town and buy black arts books.
Yes, don't do that. So the next one is called Corpses Coast to Coast, and we're not even going to talk about this one other than a brief synopsis because it was so weird and boring and like didn't have a point.
And again, like we don't know what the point of the story was. What were they trying to convey?
Yeah, this was basically just, wouldn't it be great if like we could have zombies and they would like do what we want, like be our armies and shit and stuff?
Yeah, it was like, hey, like zombies are better than humans because like they can be more easily controlled
and transported and all that stuff.
But then they still make a point in this to be like, "Oh, but there's something zombies can't do, so we'll need humans for that." And then they're like, the humans they grab are like, you're gonna be like a fake zombie, so you can do these harder tasks but still be like a zombie.
Yeah.
Or in our on our army, or we're gonna like just turn you into a real zombie.
You mean the like, UWZ?
The UWZ. Was it the
United World Zombies?
Whatever. Yeah, and so like they take over worlds, and then there's like fights, and then they're like, "It's okay, we're gonna bring peace in our zombie worlds."
Peace.
And zombie peace.
One of us.
Yeah.
I guess that was what it was. I thought it was going to be like some like, World War II analogy or something or allegory or something, but it wasn't that at all.
They're just saying if the whole world becomes kind of brain dead and just everybody kind of just lackadaisically goes about, their
that the world will end?
Then we'll have peace?
Yeah, there you go. I like that idea. That's what they're saying. So anyway, that one was pretty weird and didn't make the most sense. But the next one was also weird. All of these are weird. So this one's called A Pact with the Devil.
I like this one though.
It was good. It had some good art. Like a lot, like the devil is kind of like a Needful Things devil in this. He's got like his little hat and he goes places and he kind of like makes deals with people and stuff. But he also has all these little gremlins around him that are like little demons.
And they like whisper in people's ears.
Yeah, and I thought they were fun.
Yeah,
I thought they were fun. But basically, he like you said, he's going around. He's trying to make deals with people, and there's this guy who won't accept his deals. He's like, I'll think about it. Like basically, he's depressed, and he's like, I might kill myself, or I might make a deal with the devil. I don't know. I'm not really sure about it. And then the devil's like, well, I'll give you like anything you want. I am the devil or whatever. And he's like, oh, anything I want.
Anything.
Like, anything? He's like, yeah, anything. He's like, okay, well, why don't you sign right here and I'll give you whatever you want. So the dude signs right away. And he's like, I just want $100,000.
I want a bunch of money, and I want part of the reason he's depressed is that the woman that he loved is either has or is going to marry some other guy, and so he's really depressed about that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, I'll get all this money. And then he's like, hey, the devil's like, anything. He's like, I want that. And I want a girl back. And then he's like, well, wait a minute. I gave you a bunch of money. You could just have who she's with killed.
Yeah. That's what money does.
Yeah, that's what money does. Like so it's like he only gives the money and is like, I'll set you on the path though.
Yeah. So he hires a hitman to kill
for
the bow,
$1,000.
the new bow of the girl that he likes. Yeah, $1,000, which is a shit ton. That's how much you would pay someone nowadays to kill someone, maybe. Well, not that I would know.
Tiger from Tiger King.
Yes, Tiger King. So anyway, he's there for after her beau is killed, he's there to comfort her. And so of course she's like, oh, well, you got money and you're here and I already kind of liked you before my beau died. So yeah, let's
we'll hang out.
We'll go all over the place. She's like, you're so giving, He's like, yeah, babe. Well, I got basically not only does he get the $100,000, but he's good at investing it too. So he becomes like a tycoon, which if you for those of you who don't know is one of those Rockefellers or one of those kind of people. Those are like an oil tycoon.
Yeah, he's literally like, I've got my finger in everything now. I've got it in oil. I've got it in the stock market. I've got it in wherever.
Yeah. Which is funny because he always looks in the same clothes too. I'm like, he's not a stylish person, I guess. He never ups himself. Although his house and she does. She gets nice dresses and shit, but he always looks like he's in the same fucking jacket and coat that he was.
You're comfortable.
I guess. And so anyway, he's living the life, and then all of a sudden, who pops up? But the devil. He's like, hey there, Jackie boy.
Like your time's just about up, huh?
Yeah, you got about a week before that 10
years? Yeah.
10 years.
10-year contract.
Yeah, and he's like, what? And he's like, you don't have a contract if I burn it. And he burns it, but his name just hangs in the air.
stains in the air.
And he's like, you can't burn a contract with the devil. And then, but he tries to run away, which, you can't run away from the devil.
No, this is the common trope in everything is some person magically appears in front of you and you're like, oh, I'm going to get away. And so you run away and it's like, they appear out of nowhere.
Yeah,
where are you
people.
going to go?
They're magic. So yeah, then basically all of his stuff starts to slowly unravel. So it shows the cops questioning a guy, and they're like, "Hey, if you don't talk about who hired you to kill that dude 10 years ago, we're gonna make you, you're gonna see the frying pan or whatever." And
okay, I'll talk.
I don't want to see old Sparky, so I'll talk. It was that John Masters guy. He hired me. And so then basically it comes out in the papers that this tycoon, John, actually killed that guy. Then he sees his wife and she's like, stay away from me. I hate you, John. You killed my beau 10 years ago.
All these years.
Yeah. She never thought anything was weird with that either. And she was just looking away because of all that money. That's what it was. But then, of course, on the actual day and hour and minute that he's, his time's up, the devil appears and he's like, yep, I'm here to collect. He's like, no. So then he runs even more, which I'm like, you can't run away, John. Yeah. But he runs all the way back to that bridge and does he slip on it?
I think so. I think what's happening is because it shows him running through town and even running and weaving through traffic.
Yeah.
To get away, and he thinks he's getting away from the devil. And as he looks over his shoulder, I guess he's trying to cross a bridge. Yeah, he just slips.
Runs over the edge, the guardrail.
Yeah, and then he happens to fall over exactly where he was gonna kill himself.
Yes.
Initially, where he was thinking about it.
Yeah. So he ends up back where he was. I don't know. That's to me. That's if you were already gonna kill yourself, you might as well have 10 years of tycoonery.
He still got the better end.
Yeah, he still got the 10 years of good life. And then died where he was going to die anyway. This doesn't make it seem bad. And I can see why in the 50s they're like, oh, think of the children.
Yeah, what are the children going to think of this?
Yeah.
They can make deals for
with
money
the devil.
And candy.
And there's no lesson there. So they think it's just going to end wait, so I can make a deal? If I'm so sad I'm going to kill myself, I could just make a deal? And then like at the end of 10 years of living good, I just die anyway like I was gonna. Well, that sounds pretty good. So.
Wait, I get everything I want. I get to be around for it for a decent time, and then just be back where I was without those depressive feelings.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's do it. So anyway, that's not a good message, I guess, to send to children. But then this last one I thought was the most fun one.
I agree.
It is called "The Corpse That Came to Dinner," and it is I specifically have seen this image used in the court case for, or at least like that, and there's one of like a woman's head on a platter, and there's also one with like a guy's head with an axe or something. I don't know. Yeah. There's like a couple key images that were used to like justify
the art of this. Like things. It's creepy looking zombie.
Yes, and so basically, there's like we see like a zombie eating out of a fridge. It's kind of like the little teaser image, but it starts off with a couple, and they're like reading the newspaper as you did in the 50s, and they're like, oh, look at the world, or whatever they were talking about. Stalin, blah, blah, blah. So,
they're back from their honeymoon.
Did you hear about this 5-year plan? So anyway, yeah, then they're like just reading the newspaper, and they happen to glance at the obituaries and like, oh my God, Henry Clayton, our friend, he's dead. He committed suicide. So they're like, oh my God, how awful. So they go to his grave to like pay respects, and all of a sudden the ground starts to like bulge, and they hear scraping, and then all of a sudden a zombie pops out, and it's like, hey, Dan and Joyce, it's your friend. And like he's just alive, and he starts like hugging them, and like they try to push him off. He's like, no, like you can't get rid of me that easily. Like I'm just gonna like come live with you guys for a while. Yeah. So it's like this kind of reminded me of what was that movie from the 90s with the kids that are like zombies, but they're just hanging out.
Oh, Idle Hands.
Yeah, Idle Hands. That's totally what I was thinking. This guy's just like hanging out, smoking weed, not smoking weed, but whatever he's doing in here. He's like, I'm just gonna live with you guys for a while. And so
I did like they ran away from the cemetery, and they get back to their apartment, and he's just there.
He's like, there.
Hey guys, what's up? What took you so long?
Yeah, I've been here forever. And so like they even try to shoot him, and he doesn't die. And he's like,
you can't shoot me. I'm a zombie.
You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me. So basically he just lives there for a while and like torments them. And like even like
it's kind of fun. Like they're like okay, we've accepted this, and they're having dinner one night, and he's like, Joyce, this pot roast is delicious. I mean, it would be better if it was human flesh, but I mean, it'll do.
Yeah. And they're like, oh God, it's disgusting. Then like apparently this was funny. He plays drums all night long. Like when I say drums, he's hitting a like skinned bowl drum, like a bowl drum with a skin on it that with bones. He's just banging on that all night long. And they're like, it's so terrible. And he'll play pranks on them, like leave skeletons in their closet and stuff.
Oh, do you have a skeleton? Yeah, that was fun, dude. You have a skeleton in your closet?
Yeah. And then one time he actually makes them think that they ate human flesh. So they're like, this stew is great. He's like, yeah, I robbed a grave and got some choice cuts that I threw in your meat box for you. And then they're like, oh my God, like you made us eat people. So then that was it. That was kind of like they're like, this has to end. Straw, yeah. This is the last straw. And so they get like she gives them all her like pearls and jewelry and shit. And they're like, he's like, I know what to do. And he serves one last meal. Then we see like the zombie like, oh, something's wrong as he's like eating. Something's wrong. My muscles they're tensing up. And then the guy's like, voodoo poison, and he pulls out like a bottle of voodoo poison that he went and bought.
Yeah, he went and bought with their.
I assume is just rat poison or something with a fancy name on the label.
So, well, I mean, because it's like tensing his muscles.
Well, it's supposed to be for corpses, for zombies, but I mean, we find out.
Yeah, he's like, it's funny, like it's tensing everything, and like so pretty much from here on out, it's all inner dialogue.
Yeah, he can't talk anymore.
He can't talk, but we're seeing all his words as they like pick up the body.
Yeah, bring him back to the cemetery, throw him back in his box. He's like, stop, for the love of heaven, don't bury me. It's wrong. And you're like, wait, what? What's wrong?
What?
And they're like, finally, we're rid of this asshole. They like throw him in the box, and he's like, it was a trick. I was playing a trick on you, like I'm alive.
This is a mask.
It's a mask. I was just fucking around.
I was wearing I was wearing body armor.
Yeah. And so they basically bury him alive, and then they like come back home and like, well, finally we're free, and they like dance or whatever. They're like, our nightmare is over, and then he's buried alive. So that's like, don't be a dick and play weird tricks on people because you might get fucked over in the end or something. So that's a morality tale.
You never know. Yeah, you never. Yeah.
Hey John, don't let tricks go too far.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a tale for me because I've been known to pull nothing like quite like this, but some ones are like, really? No,
not quite like this.
Not quite like this.
But let's just say, I've had some choice words I wanted to tell John sometimes when he tricks me in quotation marks.
Matt has, my wife, my wife, my wife has.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but no, I've taken. I don't do tricks like that anymore. So.
Yeah, because he knows.
I've learned my lesson.
I've bought guns. Anyway, on that note, what would you give this one, John?
This one it had its high points. It had its low points. Like it definitely like you said, like the other ones, like they're.
I thought the high points were really high. Though.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like you could see, like where the other ones were, like that's what they were focused on. Was like exactly. Yeah. They were like, these are creepy, crawly monster tales, and then this one was like, these are crazy, like like thrillers and chills, and then you're like, like I mean, some of it is, but some of it's like just kind of normal stuff, or doesn't make sense. But like you said, the highs are good, and they're good highs, but the lows for me were they definitely brought down. So this one, dead middle of the road for me. This is a
5. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 5 as well. It was like fun.
The ones that were fun were very. The
ones that were fun were very fun.
I would.
But they did, for the time, they did not have as much dialogue as some of those other ones did.
That's true.
Or like talk boxes and shit, like where they're like describing exactly what's in the panel and stuff. So, but anyway, I give it a 5. John gives it a 5. We'll see you guys next time on the next one.
On the next spooky one.
Woo!